The book industry is entering increasingly desperate times. Many publishers and booksellers are heading towards bankruptcy. With sales slumping, costs rising, and the prospect of a government bailout rather unlikely, is there anything that the Canadian publishers and booksellers can do ourselves? How about a $330 million bailout that we create ourselves by fixing a broken business model? Everyone can sense that pressures are mounting. Publishers and booksellers are facing a perfect storm of trends. The cost of printed books is increasing. Consumers are increasingly buying digital versions online to read on their Kindles, iPhones, netbooks, etc., and buying less from bookstores. Sales levels, already stagnant, are beginning to fall. The Harper government would welcome any pretext to slash subsidies to publishers. Publishers have lost their previous advantage of controlling distribution channels because Chapters Indigo has the dominant retail store position and Amazon is in charge of much online printed and ebook sales, and those two giants can dictate the terms. Publishers have lost their dominance of publicity in this Web 2.0 world. Overordering of books sold on consignment leads to overprinting. The immense amount of overprinting is an environmental scandal that could trigger consumer boycotting. So how about a cost savings of over $330 million a year to be divvied up between us? No grant applications, no strings attached. Fully implemented within 6 months. Who would say no to that much money? Do you want to help decide how the savings are allocated? Well, there is something quite basic that publishers and retailers can do to enable this massive cost saving across the industry. It's been right under our noses for over 7 decades. We simply revert to how book business was conducted before the Great Depression, matching how goods are sold in almost every other retail sector by using firm sales rather than returnable or consignment sales, and at a more generous discount. First, let's talk about why bookstores must have a better margin to remain in business. In other industries, manufacturers and producers sell to retailers on firm terms, generally at 50% discount or more. On an item selling for $20, the merchant pays $10 or less. Yet bookstores buy their product at a mere 40% off the retail price, putting themselves at a huge, potentially lethal disadvantage compared to other retailers. Only music and video stores sell on consignment, and look where they are now. Bookstores have the same costs as other merchants: rent, utilities, wages, taxes, and so on. As sales levels drop, bookstores simply must have a better arrangement from publishers to survive. But how can publishers afford to give a higher discount? We'll show you how they can, and be more profitable themselves by ending that crazy consignment or returnability. One barrier to change is that no one in executive positions in publishing companies today can remember anything but returnable books. That's how it has always been, is a common misconception. What began as a temporary sales gimmick by a desperate New York publisher back in the 1930s to guarantee your sales spread like an infection, handicapping an entire industry for the next 70+ years in an unfortunate practice that has wasted literally billions of dollars worldwide. In good times, no one noticed or cared about such squandering. However, we are in good times no longer. Today, over-ordering and over-optimistic printing is a $135 million problem in Canada. Ouch! Here's how returnability, also known as consignment selling, plays out inside a bookstore. A merchant orders liberally, encouraged by an enthusiastic publisher's sales representative. That tall stack of books we see in a display are all on consignment. Some copies will be purchased by customers, and that's good. Lots of copies aren't sold and are sent back, a crazy amount. 40 to 80% of the print run is typically returned, depending on the genre. A gazillion dollars in wasted printing. By the way, the bookseller pays for the shipping both ways on those unneeded books. That's over $50 million each year for all the stores across Canada. Yikes! Wouldn't it make more sense if the bookstore managers ordered more cautiously, received a better discount, and then sold whatever was left over at a discount? Those bargains would draw more customers into the store, people who would buy other books at full price. How much would be saved by changing to firm sales terms? Total book sales in Canada amount to about $1.6 billion each year. That's about 100 million books sold. Cost of printing of those books sold is about $250 million. Since 40 to 80% is returned, we know that over $135 million is wasted on overprinting. Without consignment sales, half of the work of distributors and wholesalers could be eliminated, saving publishers about $80 million each year in fees. Without returns, and by selling the leftovers in place, bookstores would save $50 million in shipping costs. Salaries and accounting required for returnability could be reduced by over $35 million each year. Interest payments and other financing costs would decrease by $30 million. Analysts calculate at least $330 million in savings every year, an incredible gain in efficiency in a $1.6 billion industry. That's about 20%. By ending returnability, $330 million will be available as a do-it-yourself industry bailout. Will Canada's publishers declare an end to these consignment sales and grant our bookstores an extra 5 to 10% discount? Can we afford not to? The financial beneficiaries will be the publishers and retailers, and maybe authors could get more royalties. The other huge winner will be our planet, as our book industry will manufacture and transport tens of millions fewer books each year. I'm Bruce Batchelor. Thank you to Stuart McGillis for his drawings, and thanks to you for watching and for doing whatever you can in this great opportunity to fix a broken business model and bail out our precious book industry while ending so much waste of resources.